Everybody, welcome to this episode of our Town Hall video series hosted by Certified PA Consulting. I'm Casey D'Amato, president of Certified PA Consulting. I've been a PA since 2003, and we started Certified PA Consulting in 2009, myself and my partner, and we are the leading experts in PA negotiations. We were practice administrators of our private practices, and that's how we learned a lot about business. And now we help people understand how to negotiate like a business owner, the way that you will get the most impact. And we also help you determine what is the best career path for you. Are you in the job that is best for you long term? Or maybe this is a job that's a stepping stone and you may want to move on to something else. So we help you determine those things, determine the best negotiation strategy for a new job or renegotiation. We can help you if you're thinking about starting a practice, your own PA practice. We can help you if you want to start a business or even make a career change, clinical or non-clinical, something completely different. So our team is the leading experts when it comes to these professional issues that we're not really taught in PA school. We're not really taught effective negotiations. We're taught to look at salary reports, but that's not the best way to negotiate, and we can teach you why. And we look to our colleagues a lot for these kind of challenging professional issues, and that's great. And our colleagues can be helpful sounding boards, but at the end of the day, it's helpful to have a professional coach that has coached hundreds, probably thousands of PAs and NPs at this point. We have a very proven system that helps people get from where they feel right now, which is oftentimes anxious and nervous or a little scared about either the negotiation process or their next step. And is this the right job? Do they want to stay here, or do they want to take this job offer? And how do they have these conversations? A lot of people have anxiety and stress around these type of conversations. So I'm here with Danielle Spaholt, who is our senior consultant when it comes to salary negotiations and understanding common terms and contracts. And she's the one who works with most of our clients one-on-one, navigating these complex issues so that we can, in a 1 hour session, help you from feeling all these negative emotions about your negotiation process to feeling completely clear and confident and calm. Like, you can see exactly what your next steps are. You can see what the long-term outcome will be. And if it doesn't turn out the way that you like with your conversation, you know exactly what your next steps. So you have the whole roadmap right in front of you at the end of your session. So Danielle is a fantastic resource and can really help you if you're somebody who feels uncomfortable with your negotiations. And today we're talking about a common issue that comes up. What happens if you receive a very low salary offer? What do you do to that person? Do you tell them where you think they should go throw that offer? How do you respond in a professional way? All the things. So I'm going to hand it to Danielle to talk through some of our processes and principles and tactics and tools around this. Is fairly common, and it's not something to necessarily take personal, because it might be a business. They might not have a lot of money in this particular business or practice for different reasons, and so it's hard not to take it personal as a PA. But oftentimes it's not a personal situation, and we're going to help you understand what to do and how to navigate this fairly common situation that can come up about what to do if you get offered a low salary or lower than you wanted.
Yes, that's very true. I like what you said, Casey, about that negative emotion. And I think if you've watched any of our other videos, we do talk a lot about taking the emotion out of the negotiation, which really is a business transaction, and seeing that as a non-emotional, transaction instead of an emotional piece. So the negotiation will have the best success if you are not emotional in that moment and you see it as a business transaction back and forth negotiation. So there's a few situations where this really applies, and you mentioned one, which is you could just get an offer from a new practice that's just very low. And the other thing that I have talked clients through that has sometimes happened is you're in clinic and you kind of get blindsided. They come and give you like, here's your new contract for next year, and you have a different structure and it's lower than what you have now. So these are some things that can happen, and the initial reaction is going to be like, that kind of negative emotion, like you mentioned. And really the biggest piece I would say there is make sure that you take it home, don't take the emotion out of it, take it home, process it, and wait to negotiate until you are feeling better about it, until you understand it, or you've worked with a professional like us that can help you kind of understand and kind of see both sides of the negotiation the best way. One of the first pieces of advice that I would give is to make sure you ask the why. So, Casey mentioned this. Maybe they don't have a lot of money. Maybe they are funneling a lot of money into capital projects like big buildings. Maybe they just acquired a new practice, or maybe they bought a large building or a brand new construction. That's going to be a lot of money for the practice that they're going to be funneling out. And so maybe they don't have as much at that point to give you for your bonus structure, your salary, benefits, that kind of thing. So really ask the why. You will get clues. So if you pay attention to your practice, if you listen, keep your ears open, you listen more than you talk, you will start to hear little clues from whether it be your practice owner or your supervising physician or the office manager. You'll start to get these clues and it will guide you in your negotiation. These clues are extremely helpful when we're an objective party listening. When clients are talking to me about their situation, I don't know these people, so I'm getting this objective look at it, and I help you pick out these clues, because sometimes it's hard to see if you're in the situation or you're feeling kind of emotionally charged about it. The other thing to consider that Casey mentioned is that the business may be unhealthy. So if there is some writing on the wall, like maybe you're starting to see some signs, like they're cutting back on a lot of staff, they're not hiring enough MAs for your practice, they're cutting a lot of things. Maybe that's some signs that the business is not the healthiest. And maybe it's time to start thinking about your position there and whether this is a healthy business that you think you will be able to work at for the next several years. So that might be something that you want to start considering putting out, some feelers around and maybe start applying to different positions in that case. Because not all businesses succeed. Not every business owner is successful. So if you are starting to see some of those signs, it's something you might want to think about. The other thing to think about are your collections low. So, and that is hard to hear sometimes, but we try to give you some honest feedback. We see a lot of PA's collections. They can range. They're all over the place. There's people who collect over $1 million. There's people who collect 300 or 400,000 a year, and that's all of it's okay, depending on the business model, your salary structure. And we actually run the numbers and spend a lot of time making sure that you understand your numbers and how that fits in the practice and how it fits within a healthy business model. And that's very important for you to understand that. And it's amazing after we go through the numbers, so many clients say like, wow, I did not understand that. And now I understand why my salary structure is like it is, or I understand, oh, wow, I have a ton of benefits. That's why my salary isn't great, or I have very low benefits. So all of these pieces and parts, it's very intricate and very complicated. And that's why we help you through in a one-on-one session on this. So if your collections are very low, you may not be able to support a higher salary or bonus structure in your practice. And we can help you understand what's kind of average and what makes sense.
Yep, 100%. And the low salary doesn't mean you have to accept it, right? So some people take it personal, or you may be thinking, to Danielle's point, maybe they're taking on these different expenditures, whether it's a building or whether it's expansion or things like that. And you're thinking, well, that's not my problem. I was hired on this salary, and that's their responsibility as a business owner. And to some extent, that's true. And you always have the ability to put in notice and move on. If you feel like you're working with someone who's very much a narcissist and it's all about them, and there is not a level of mutual respect, well, then maybe it isn't worth negotiating. Maybe that's when you start to plan your exit. So, it's really important, if you get presented a low offer, to evaluate. I got presented a low offer. Am I working somewhere that there's mutual respect? And if so, that's great. Then I'm looking at, okay, what's the health of the business model? All the numbers that Danielle's talking about, the healthy business model. Am I generating enough to support the salary that I want? And maybe that's what's going on. So first, mutual respect. Second, business model. And then from there, it's asking the why. Because if you can't determine those first two steps and start to determine for yourself if you want to stay or have conversation and negotiate, then ask them why and try to understand where they're coming from and why this may be happening. And then if you want to negotiate, we can definitely help you through that process and understand, okay, what would be the next steps? How can we create a win-win with this? Now that we know the situation, we can work with it and we can present some things that can help bring in more revenue for them, that you can do to bring in more revenue and then be compensated and bonused for that. So there's all sorts of creative ways that we can turn around that low compensation offer on something that can be tiered incentivized much faster than maybe they didn't think of. They maybe, I mean, that's why we've been doing this so long. We're the true experts. We can get very creative with proposals, and then you can bring that back to the table and they may say, yeah, I don't see why we can't agree to this new terms that you're presenting, because that's going to help us bring in some additional cash, some additional revenue. So we're happy to, reward on a new bonus or adjust things like as that goes. So we can really help you get very creative. So I agree with everything that Danielle said along the ways. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I would say negotiating the win-win. So that is huge, like you just mentioned. So get back to that clues, like if you're gathering clues from your practice and maybe there's some clues that they need help with marketing, or maybe there's some clues that they need more help with, like you said, procedures. I've talked to Ps and MPs, they want to increase their scope of practice and their practice really needs that. Maybe they need more people to do full body skin checks. Maybe they need more people to do X, Y, or Z. But if you're listening, you'll hear those clues. And if you find out what their problems are and figure out how you can fix that, then people are more willing to give money because you understand what their problems are, and they're more willing to negotiate with you and you know, give you that higher salary, get a higher base salary, that higher bonus structure. So what is the problem they need to solve and how can you help that? If you figure out that question, that is really very important to negotiation.
Yep. That is a question we use in business too, by the way. So those of you who are business minded, it's always about how can you solve the problem? How can you be the solution? So whether you're negotiating or you're in business, that is fundamental. Ingrain that in your brain. It's a very success mindset tool. What is the problem of the other person and how can we be part of the solution? And that is how the most successful people think. And that's how the highest outcome of negotiations will come from that, answering that question. And it's the same thing that we see with business coaching as well, when you're serving your community and in your business. So we really encourage you to think about that. We really encourage you to that win-win, because that is going to propel you so much further than looking at salary reports. I mean, you can always show those. They're one tool, with salary reports and things like that. They're one tool, but they should not be the only tool, because if you can create a win-win structure, we guarantee that you will way surpass any negotiation outcome that you could get using a salary report. So definitely, use that only as one small tool in your tool bank when you're getting ready to negotiate. If you're feeling stuck or intimidated by any of this conversation, and you're like thinking that we have all the answers, we do have a lot of answers. We've been doing this a very long time. We've pretty much heard it all, I think, at this point.
Mhm.
So we can 100% help you get clarity on your situation. We can help you understand the best negotiation strategy. We can help you understand where you're going to hit roadblocks and why you're going to hit roadblocks. And we can help you determine if you want to negotiate and go down this path, or if the roadblocks are going to be so great, is it better for your long-term goals to plan your exit in a graceful way? And we can help you determine which of those options is best for you, and then how to go about doing executing your exit if that is the choice you want to make. So we can really help you in a very short period of time go through that entire process and feel very confident in your negotiation strategy. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. CertifiedPAconsulting.com is our website. Make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. We've got lots of videos. We put out 2 new videos per month, plus a free FAQ session. So we announce all that on our videos. Follow us on Instagram at CPAC Team, or Facebook or LinkedIn at Certified PA Consulting, any of those, as well as subscribe and thumbs up to this YouTube channel. And then you'll be connected in our community, and we will be able to serve you and help you, whether it's free videos and free resources, whether it's on-demand programs that qualify for Category 2 CME, or maybe it's working with our consultants or with Danielle personally one-on-one with your next salary negotiation. So we are here for you. We can help you through these challenging conversations that are sometimes scary and intimidating, and we don't want it to be that way. We want you to feel confident and clear about the situation and about your strategy. So don't hesitate to reach out. There'll be links in the show notes as well to all of the things, to our website and how to get in touch with us. So if you have any questions, don't be shy, reach out. We're here for you, and we look forward to seeing you on our next town hall video series.